Well, it's been a busy few days for world events and major news around the world. Maggie Thatcher's dead, Glasgow Rangers still has shenanigans going on, and North Korea seem to be trying to assert themselves. Well, first of all, Maggie Thatcher. I'm not mourning her loss, to be honest, because she didn't treat Scotland very well at all. I grew up in the 80s and around the time that she was in power. Of course, she was the English Prime Minister for around about 11 years, about 10.5 years. And to be honest, unless you were English, you weren't treated very well. A lot of people are not mourning her passing. A lot of people are not particularly paying. I mean, to say that she divided the country is evident by 150 members of the English Parliament who didn't turn up. I think it was yesterday for the special uh, session of Parliament because they're on their Easter holidays just now. There was a special session to pay tribute to her, and 150 MPs didn't turn up to for that. And it shows she divided, certainly divided the country. I've seen lots of specials, short specials, and footage in that on the news channel after her death, because obviously there was hours of stuff about her death after it was announced. Programs were changed around, and there was lots of stuff shown. And some of the comments that she made that they showed was ridiculous. She made a few comments to Prime Minister of France, to some ambassador of, I think it was Germany or something. She made a few remarks that it wasn't as if they were negotiating a settlement or negotiating some power or legal thing. They were just discussing um, about general things, and the comment she made was ridiculous. Like, oh, only a Frenchman would say that, or I can't remember what was exactly she said to the German ambassador, but it was something ridiculous about the German attitude to the way of life for other people or something. But to be honest, she treated the Scottish poorly, she treated the Welsh poorly, she treated both Northern and Republic of Ireland poorly. So the only really good thing she did was to actually prove to some people that, at least to the English, the Scottish and the Welsh and the Northern Irish and the Republic of Irish, that they needed devolution, they needed their own parliament, and at least the one positive contribution she made was showing them that yes, to vote for devolution would be the step forward. Of course, Scotland is going for independence fully next year in September. We're going for independence. Whether that'll actually go the yes vote, I'm hoping it will. But the funeral for Maggie Thatcher is on April the 17th. It's going to be a state funeral. It's not going to be as high as a funeral. I don't know. There's major different types, like from a pauper's grave to the Queen or King passing away. There's different levels of state funerals. It won't be the top class state funeral that I thought it might be, but the taxpayer will still have to pick up the bill because there's going to be at least 750 plus. I'd say that's probably the minimum number of police officers and army uh, soldiers that are going to actually be doing the security for the funeral. So it's going to be a lot of money. Some people are divided about. I'm not mourning her. I will not be paying attention next week for the funeral. To be honest, like I said, not mourning her loss. I had a few comments on Facebook page because I made copied the wrestler's poem that was made about somebody else and I edited it to make it about Maggie Thatcher and had a few comments of complaint about that. But to be honest, I'm not mourning her loss, so you might as well have gathered by now. Now to something more local is Glasgow Rangers Football Club. I was going to make an update about that. I was actually going to sit here over the next day or so and make an update video about the current situation at Glasgow Rangers, but I'm going to postpone that a while because police are investigating it yet again. The last couple of days we've had Craig White, who used to run Rangers, claim that he still owns the club. Charles Green came in and bought the club after it went in liquidation, and the thing is, I'm calling shenanigans in the whole thing. I said it before in in the last popular Rangers video that I thought there was something dodgy going on, and certainly thought, and I'm still of the opinion that they're trying to sidestep everything. I mean, they tried to sidestep, and well, pretty much successfully have done, sidestep any payment to any creditors, and they wanted to stay in the Premier League of Scottish football. For Scottish football, there's 4 leagues currently, because they're looking at league reconstruction, but I can't see that happening before the end of next season. So, well, before the end of this season. But there's 4 divisions. There's the Premier League, the First Division, Second Division, and Third Division. That's the full-time, or at least the proper uh, professional league of football. We've also got the Highland League and so forth and other divisions uh, going on in Scottish football. Not to dispute them, because some of them have excellent football matches. But that's the main leagues, main professional leagues, and I think that Rangers were certainly trying. Certainly, I mean, they said it themselves. You look back on the BBC stuff, the documentaries, the stuff on BBC News websites, they were trying to sidestep paying their creditors and remain in the Premier League. I don't think so. If it was my club, Dundee United, I would have said the same thing. Need to go back down to the third division, which Rangers, the original Glasgow Rangers, are a different club than what is now Rangers Football Club, as that Glasgow Rangers, the original club, went into liquidation some months ago. And I believe it's actually still being dealt with for some unknown reason. It's still a really slow process. It was still being dealt with as of a couple of weeks ago. Still being process of being put in liquidation. But Rangers now they're in the third division. The basic update is that football-wise they're in the third division. They're pretty much third division champions. They haven't claimed it officially yet, but they're like within 2 or 3 games at the absolute most of officially having it mathematically impossible not to lose it. I think they actually only need like one more win or a draw for their next game will claim the title, but they've got at least 2 or 3 games to go before everything is completely settled. There's no hope for any other teams. But they'll be in the second division next season, and I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what happens. Like you said, I'm going to postpone my Glasgow Rangers full video that I was preparing. I might continue to prepare what I've got, but I'm going to postpone putting up the video in case until I actually hear about what the police opinions and thoughts and uh, revelations and what happens with this current investigation. Because Craig White, the former owner of Glasgow Rangers, still claims he owns the club. Charles Green said that it was a business relationship between the two of them, between himself and Craig White, but that collapsed. But the police are investigating that, so I'm not going to go into it just now because I want to know the full details, what the police findings are, before I come on and update everybody on. Maybe I don't know whether I'll take it right from the start. I may make a kind of like mini documentary kind of thing, looking at taking it from right from the start, using like Wikipedia and sort of the resources from the BBC, and go through the whole process up till date. So I might do that, continue to prepare that, and then I'll upload it once I get to know what the latest is. And North Korea. North Korea seem to be preparing themselves for war, possibly nuclear war. They've certainly been doing work with nuclear materials. That has certainly been confirmed by various reports. The thing is about North Korea, they really don't want to start anything, and I'm not saying that's their opinion officially because I don't know, but I'm saying my opinion is they really don't want to start anything. As if as if they're standing up to a bully. You tell them you really don't want to start something. They really don't want to start something, because if they try anything, the rest of the world will certainly be after them. I really do think that the rest of the world will be after them if they try to do anything. Because it's unlike the First World War, unlike the Second World War, where Germany had its allies like Italy and Russia and so forth. It will be the whole world almost against North Korea if they tried anything. I know they'd be testing out missiles. I know it's a very militaristic country. I know they've got Kim Jong Un, I believe is the correct name, taking over after his father passed away. And I'm not having a go at saying, if they want their country to work a completely different way to America, to Scotland, England, Wales, Italy, Spain, France, even Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, all of it. If they want their country run a completely different way, that's fine. That's fine. That's their. Most people know me, and I'm not against having countries run different ways. This is their culture, their religion, their way of life. It's completely up to them. But warmongering and tempting to, it's almost like kind of con countries into attacking them so they can actually start a war and say that it wasn't them that started it. Almost like it's difficult because the North Koreans, I think, are trying to tempt people in and trying to lure them in and lure them in other countries into starting something. I know there's been the G8 summit today in the next couple of days, and they're all getting behind supporting each other and trying to message to North Korea. And I'm not talking about obviously armies walking up and down the borders with North Korea. I'm talking about literally actual message, text message, email, hand delivered postal message, an international statement to North Korea to say you really don't want to be starting anything because you've got the rest of the world against you. Um, and it's not in their, like I said, it's not in their interest. Otherwise, they will be invaded, and they will be their power taken away from them. Because I'm not a historian either, but the way that World War Two started was that Germany wasn't looked after properly after the First World War because they allowed them to rebuild weapons and to have not correct people actually taking power in the country. Again, I'm not saying that they run their country their own way in their own culture, their own religion, and different aspects, but it was not the correct way of looking after Germany that led to the Second World War after the First World War. If they'd gone in there and perhaps run the government for them and actually ruled the country and had the different advisors, work with the people, work with the Germans to have, okay, this is your culture, this is the way you do things, okay, let's do it peacefully. If they'd done it actually more forcefully, the Second World War wouldn't have happened because Adolf Hitler wouldn't have got into power, and therefore the war wouldn't possibly, wouldn't certainly have not started. But like I said, North Korea certainly are not want to start things. Otherwise, they could be finding themselves in major trouble, especially with the international community.